Good morning, everyone. How are y'all doing today?
Good morning.
I do not care. Anyway, today I will talk to you, my fellow students, and anyone who this speech can relate to, something that is all around us, yet rarely spoken about openly. Addiction! Most of us think of drugs or alcohol when we hear that word, but addiction is much more broader than that. It's not just bad habits, it's all about the way our brain and behaviors can be hijacked often quietly and quickly. My goal today is to help you understand what addiction really is, how it works, how it affects people, especially young people like us, and why we need to treat it not as judgment, but with compassion and awareness. What is addiction? Addiction is the chronic mental condition. It's not simply a matter of weak willpower or bad choices. Rather, it's substances or behaviors like gambling, gaming, and gooning. Stop it. Or even excessive phone usage. Addiction means a person cannot stop, even when it's really hurting them and others around them. Addiction changes the brain, especially parts involved in your reward system, your motivation, and your self-control. And it makes it hard to just quit. Addiction isn't only about drugs. It also includes non-substances addiction, like gambling, food, gaming, social media, work, yes, even pornography. The behavioral addictions can be damaging. They disrupt lives, relationships, and our mental health, but are often ignored because they don't leave obvious signs. Let's talk about especially relevant to our generation, pornography. Serious topic. Today's digital world, everyone can access endless explicit content anytime and anywhere. For some, this turns into a compulsive need. It starts small, maybe a curiosity at a young age, or a very quiet need becomes a pattern that's hard to break. Pornography triggers the same dopamine releases in the brain as drugs do, finding it to be 15 times more addictive than cocaine. Over time, users need more extreme content to feel the same high. That's called tolerance, and it's a benchmark for addiction. A neuroscientists like Von Ed in 2014 show that brains of addicted people respond similarly to those addicted to substances. The difference is that they hide behind screens. No smiles, no slurred speeches, just silence, screens, and shame. Real-life consequences. What are real-life consequences? Because the consequences are real. According to research by David Lane and Crouch Ed and many other scientists, many teens who watch porn regularly repeat high levels of depression and anxiety, develop poor body images and doubts about real relationships by comparing themselves to the actors in those films. Naughty, naughty. Some men experience erectile dysfunction. This isn't just about sex, it's about mental health, self-worth, and how we view ourselves and others. Addiction versus misuse. Now, not everyone who watches porn or drinks at parties or does drugs is addicted. There's a difference between misuse and addiction. Addiction is when someone cannot stop, even when they want to, and even when it's hurting them, or the people around them. It's a compulsive pattern, regular behavior, and breaking it takes more than just willpower or saying, I'm just going to quit. And why should this particular issue revolve around our generation? For some, for additional substances, Withdrawal symptoms can be severe, even life-threatening, but behavioral addictions have their own form of withdrawal: anxiety, depression, irritability, and obsessive thoughts. That's why recovery often requires professional help. Going cold turkey isn't really working. It's sometimes dangerous without support, and getting help and moving forward is our #1 goal as a generation. If you or someone you know is struggling, there is hope. Recovery is possible. It might involve therapy, medical treatment, support groups, honest conversation, and a tryingness to not be hurt. Most importantly, recovery does not have to happen alone. You might wonder, why should we, as the youth of this generation, care? Because addiction doesn't just affect other people. Many addictions start during the teenage years, often without anyone noticing until it goes wrong. If we understood the risk early, we can make better choices later on, ask for help sooner, and look out for others to help us. Addiction, whether to substance or screens, is not a moral failure. It's a health issue, one that deserves empathy, not judgment, unless it's from God. Final message of this overall presentation: addiction is real, it's complex, and it affects millions, including people of age. By speaking about it openly, especially with kindness that is usually ignored, like porn addiction, we break silence and stigma. We make it easier for people to get help. So let's replace shame with understanding and empathy. Let's ask tough questions and support struggling people. Because silence doesn't heal, but a good conversation